Hi everyone, Ryan here, Ion Capital Solutions. What we're going to discuss here is just the high level of our model. What we're doing here is we're unlocking additional revenue streams, right? We've put that together by now. In the past, we've believed that, especially when we first got into wholesaling, right, that it was a pretty smooth, simple transaction, right? You have the asset, right? Let's assume you found a great property that has a high ARV, strong ROI potential for you and for the buyer, and that's the dream, right? And so the buyer has enough cash for the purchase and the rehab is satisfied, has enough cash for the purchase and for the rehab and is satisfied with the price of the property. It's an easy deal, right? It's just that simple. And then reality sets in and you realize it's not that simple, right? It's not that simple. You see, up till now, you've been focusing on the winning bidder, right? And we assume that that winning bidder is just going to bid high and things will go smooth. And that's where our money comes from, right? In the deal itself, we think this is how we earn our money. And so this is where our focus really should solely lie. And it's connecting those two things, the buyer and the deal. And if you think about it, after considering our model, you're actually missing what's going on around you and missing out on the opportunity to earn, right? So it's the losing bidder that you're not at all focused on, right? They lost, better luck next time, right? And so what we need to do is understand that, first of all, the winning bidder should not be holding the keys to your success, right? With that model in place, they do, right? Because let's be realistic. Sometimes a deal just falls apart because there's not enough of an ROI, right? We know that. Limiting yourself to only one revenue stream leaves you at the mercy of the winning bidder, especially if there's not enough bidders to drive up the price in the first place, right? And as an experienced wholesaler, you know that the property and the buyer described in the previous slides are rare. The negotiation between you and the buyer can often feel like a battle for limited ROI, right? And in those situations, you need to think outside the box to ensure a reasonable ROI for you and for your buyer. And it's easier said than done, right? And this is the balancing act that you have to manage, right? But with our model, you have more ways than one. You can turn the tables on the investor. You can give yourself flexibility, right? So what you want to ask yourself is, are you effectively monetizing your time? Time is money. We all know that, right? We've all heard that before, right? And how are you monetizing the conversations you're having with real estate investors? More specifically, how are you monetizing conversations with losing bidders, right? What's your plan for future business, right? I'm sure at one point or another you thought, oh man, if I could monetize those conversations, think of all the money I could make. But you're not doing that, right? You're not doing that. So how are you planning to adjust, right? Well, we've already done that thinking for you. We already have a platform that you can leverage without having to take on any additional work to do just that, right? But hang on, let's get back to the point, right? We need to maximize earnings for time spent, right? Think of every investor you speak with as a residual source of income, not just in the future, but right now, right? Each conversation should lead to a sale. You should always think that way, right? And if you limit yourself to one product, how can you make more than one sale, right? There must be a better way, and there is a better way, and we're going to show you exactly what that looks like, okay? Time is money. It's time to start making money is what you want to see here, what you want to think about, all right, when you put this model into effect. There's a lot of time wasted in conversation with potential buyers that you don't actually convert, and you think that you can't earn. You can be making money with all of these people. So you should be excited right now, because once you understand how to convert these people, you're just putting together a whole bunch of cash, and it puts you in a completely different position. There's more than one key to success, okay? There's the deal, right? But there's also funding for the purchase. There's funding for the rehab. There's lines of credit, right? Where you offer a line of credit to a client, they keep coming back for more. They're going to keep using that line. That line's going to replenish itself. It changes the game. So that investor who you may not be buying your property today, if you give them that line of credit and they're using it for whatever other property, they're going to keep coming back to it. They're going to have you fresh in mind. And when you have a property ready to go, you're going to be ready to do business with them. Maybe they're your next buyer, right? You're already funding them. It just makes sense, right? So Let's talk about it, right? We've unlocked multiple revenue streams for you, right? It's not just about the wholesale deal. You have funding for the purchase. Typically 1 in 6 deals are sold to a cash buyer, right? Rough estimate, but somewhere around there. Not everybody's a cash buyer, right? And if you think about it, it doesn't make sense to be a cash buyer. Why put all your eggs in one basket, right? Why put all your cash into the property? That really doesn't make sense. When you can spread out your cash and just put down a little bit on multiple properties and then borrow money from the lender for the purchase and for the rehab, you can just do that many more deals, make that much more money, right? So a lot of investors use that model. The vast majority use that model. You should be funding them, right? Funding for rehab, right? The same goes for rehab. Clients need cash. Be that person to earn cash from the transaction, right? It's not just the purchase, right? You know that. They're fixing it up and they're flipping it, right? So that increases that loan amount. That's more money that you can earn a percentage of, right? So don't just say, oh, you need money for the purchase. It's money for the rehab too. It's both of these things, right? Sometimes you'll have the buy and hold or whatever it is too, but still, they may want to rehab, right, is the point. The line of credit. Once a line is issued, each time the client draws, you get paid. And that's just a terrific thing because it just keeps coming back. You're really not doing anything at that point, right? Other than staying in touch with the investor, of course, in case they want to buy your next wholesale deal. They're using that line. Every time they do business, you're getting paid, right, is the bottom line. So the bottom line here is you can do more, right? You can step outside your comfort zone and grow your business. You can think differently about your ROI. You're not just earning more. You're able to view your deals differently. Excuse me, I just found a typo there. Okay, view your deals differently. You can put together money in different ways. So let's pretend for a minute that you have a deal that doesn't have the best ROI, but you want to get the deal done, that the investor's putting pressure on you. Well, you have a little bit more leverage now because you're offering funding to that investor. Okay. At the same time, you're able to gather a commission, which increases your ROI. It's a little bit more cash. So it makes the deal doable, right? Whereas before, maybe it was a deal breaker. The investor wanted maybe a couple grand off or whatever it is, right? And it kind of kills the deal for you. All of a sudden, you're able to get it back, right? By getting funded, right? Or by funding the investor, right? There's also, again, don't forget transactional funding, right? But the point is, it gives you flexibility. It gives you leverage. So change the way you think about your ROI, right? It's not a sole stream anymore. And that's it. That's the high level. Again, in these training modules, we don't want to overwhelm you. We don't want to get too detailed. We do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Really, we want you to understand that there's more than one key to success here, and that's multiple revenue streams. It's changing the way you think and unlocking doors, right, to more money. So take these keys. Understand that this is effective. It will make more money for you. You leverage your broker. Make them part of your team. Make sure that if you don't understand the high level of this, if you have questions, you ask, right? Because the bottom line here is every day you're talking to investors. You can be making more money. You can be monetizing those conversations in multiple ways, right? Without doing more deals in the year, without taking on more responsibility. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a simple thing, and that's what makes it work, right? Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.